You're coming to see me?
Yeah, we can.
Where you been today?
Yep.
Get it fixed?
Almost. He's gonna come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know what they have to do now.
This kid's really good and did a great job, especially when he didn't set it up originally. But it's just setting up the scanner and the
Yeah, and all that.
multi-factor authentication and all the stuff.
That's probably what took a lot of time.
For Christmas.
Probably from 2 Christmases ago, huh?
I think you're right.
Yeah, you probably ought to get rid of that.
Hello there.
Where are you?
Sorry, I'm reading as I'm sitting here.
You're fine.
They want your stuff.
Okay,
Time.
ready?
We
Are we good to
5:30.
record?
Yeah.
With the approved time of 5:30, the City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 5th is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, can you please call the roll? Clerk Lesko.
Will do. Alderman Redpath.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford. Here. Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman Notariano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson. Here. Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Busher.
Here.
Mayor Busher, a quorum is present.
Thank you, Clerk Lesko. The civility pledge is in the interest of civility. I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. The chair will now entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the August 15th, 2023 City Council meeting and approve the minutes. We have a first and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. The motion carries. The chair will now entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances into the record of this council meeting.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on the first reading of ordinances? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda into the record of this council meeting.
So move, Mayor. Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. The chair will now entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on that? Okay. Voting is now open. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no.
I'm a yes.
All right. Thank you, Alderman Williams. Thank you, Alderman Rockford.
Double click.
The motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no then.
Mayor?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, I just need to be marked as present for 2023-379, and there was another one with the NR, I'm sorry. Well, 2023-379, I think that's the only one then.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one, yes,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Noted.
you, Alderwoman. Agenda numbers 2023-086, 2023-173, 2023-201, 2023-202, 2023-203, and 2023-322 remain tabled or in committee. Is there any action on those items? Okay.
Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Donlin.
I would like to make a motion to bring to the front of the debate agenda agenda items number 2023-392 through 395.
Second.
We have a first and a second to bring to the front of the agenda items 2023-392, 2023-393, 2023-394, and 2023-395. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Alderman Donlin. The next item on the agenda is item number 2023-392, an ordinance dissolving a business district retailer's occupational tax, a business service occupation tax, and a business district hotel operator's occupation tax within the boundaries of the South Central Business District. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-392 on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion on that? Okay, the voting will now be open. All those, oh, wait, sorry, we do have discussion. Alderman Gregory.
Thank you. I just, I really want to thank Alderman Donlin for helping me with some clarity. And a lot of my questions was surrounding the business tax, and I also talked with Alderwoman Notarano and to really let her know what my main concern was, and that was really the business district itself. I wish we had known this earlier so we could have handled it earlier, but I will say that the business district and the main concern that I have is that if this does not get done, what happens to it? And I understand that, we won't get no funds will exchange if it does not get done. But if this never does happen and this business district does go on for 23 years packaged the way it is, how does that affect us? Was more so my concerns. Does the and from my understanding that much of this business district is for infrastructure projects, correct? And now there's language in there that to do other things. So it's almost like a TIF, so to speak. Am I correct in that? Rehab of buildings and things.
So the funds can be used for items similar to a TIF. The funding mechanisms are different, but yes, the funding can be used for infrastructure and development and improving that area that's in the business district.
And this was the same in the first business district, in the existing business district. Now, those are identical, correct?
That's correct. The uses of the funds will be the same.
Thank you. And so, if an event that this never happens and this 23-year does go on, we will have the opportunity to chime in if it does continue on packaged the way it is. I'm referring to the hotel motel tax and some of the other taxes that are built for this business, because this business district is tied to the sports complex. It's built for that, correct?
That's not correct.
Okay.
So this business district can exist outside of the sports complex. Okay. If the sports complex does not happen, the council can revisit this business district, this tax, just like it is with Business District 1. So we're creating the new one so we can get the 23 years,
Okay.
But we're ending Business District 1, the old business district. The same thing can happen with Business District 2. But at the same time, if the sports complex does not happen, the business district still exists, so the council could decide what other developments could go in there, or likewise across the street,
Okay.
Where there is no planned development, what infrastructure and what businesses can be assisted in going into that spot. This council will have that authority.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, appreciate you. Thank you.
Alderman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So, following the line of questions that he had, so Legacy Point was, I guess the current district, it's set to expire in 6 to 7 years, correct?
Yes.
What we're at currently, okay.
That's right.
So, and the extension of the 23 years was really for the sports complex itself, not the district.
So we promised 2 years ago that we entered into a redevelopment agreement that obligated funds to the sports complex that extended 23 years. We can't do that under the current business district. So the reason you're being asked to terminate the current business district and create a new one is because there's no way to extend the old one. So the 23 years, the reason this is being presented and the reason we looked at it was because we needed to figure out a way, if we were going to abide by what we agreed to in the redevelopment agreement, we needed to create a new business district, figure out a way to have it last 23 years. This is how we do that. And then in looking at it and discussing with our consultants, we thought, well, if we're redrawing the business district anyway, it should be expanded to include the land across MacArthur for additional developments that we're now currently envisioning for that whole area.
Okay, so if the 23 years that we had promised, or however you want to word it, was for the operation of the sports complex or creation of it. In my mind, I'm thinking no sports complex, no 23 years, no extension.
And this council would have the authority if the sports complex came in and said, we can't make it work, then this council would have the authority to pass an ordinance terminating the business district if they wanted to.
Okay. Thank you. So I have about 4 more questions. I don't know if they should go to you or who they should go to, but it's in reference to Mr. Strauss' answer, and I think it was Alderman Redpath, when we dealt with the 1%, and we talked about the 1% tax being generated from the current business district, that money, was given to the developer. Is that correct?
That would be a better question, I think, for
Budget director's behind you.
for our budget, not for me.
The 1% is not given to the developer, it's used to pay debt service. So the developer, we originally had for the first business district 2 bonds that were issued in 2009 and 2010, and then those were refinanced in 2018 into 1 bond. And then we have 2 bonds for 2013. The developer submits invoices, and those are approved by, they've been approved by our city's chief engineer. And we then submit those invoices to the trustee at the bank, and then the trustee issues money to the developer, and we pay the debt service over the period, which ends April 1st, 2032 is the last scheduled debt service payment from the existing bonds.
Okay, so this current district was approved several years ago, and since it was approved several years ago, I thought Mr. Strauss, when he answered Alderman Redpath, indicated that it was paid to the developer for infrastructure. Is that correct?
The bonds are for infrastructure development, so those are developer projects. Yes.
Okay, so how much money was paid to the developer?
Principal and interest since the first bonds. I could come up with that number probably in a few minutes.
Okay.
Have to go through the financial statements.
So, okay, and so what infrastructure was improved, or?
There was roads, the MacArthur Boulevard extension was part of that, sewers,
Nothing was there.
streets.
So those are the locations of improvement using this money?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So has developer so the question is, has developer of this project submitted invoices for all infrastructure work completed to the Office of Springfield Office and Economic Development?
I know it was submitted to Public Works.
Public Works, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Williams, or Alderman Williams?
No, that's it for.
Okay, I didn't want to stop if you had more. I know there are 4 other aldermen signed up to speak, but would you allow me to let Ryan McCready come up first from the SSGA to speak? The 4 aldermen that are signed up to speak, are you okay with that? We'll get to you after Ryan McCready speaks. Is that okay? All right. Do you mind coming up, Mr. McCready? State your name and who you are for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Ryan McCready. I'm with the Springfield Salmon Growth Alliance, and I appreciate you giving the opportunity to talk about the business district. Alderman, your questions are very good ones. When we look at a business district, it's a tool to help inspire development in certain parts of a community. Alderman Gregory mentioned the TIF districts and how they work. There's a couple stark differences. So in the business district, it's an extra sales tax. So let's say, for example, one of our citizens decides they don't like business districts, so they're not going to shop in them. They don't put any money towards a project that exists in the business district. It's funded solely by people who visit that geographic area and spend money with those retailers. So it gives our taxpayers a choice about the project. The business district, how it's set up here, and the redevelopment agreement that you've approved, reimburses the developer for infrastructure, public infrastructure expenses. So when we roll back the clock and we look at that area of the community before the Legacy Point development, before the construction of Shields, if as a community we were able to attract something like Shields, in that development scenario, somebody's going to pay to build the public infrastructure, right? Someone's going to pay for the roads and the traffic lights, the storm drainage, all those things that have to exist to inspire that development. There's a number of ways that can happen. Developers can just write a check themselves. Some communities use economic development tools, and business district is a tool that was put in place for this development. So this 1% sales tax that's been charged goes back to offset the cost of the public infrastructure. So it's not, when it's paid to the developer, it's paid to the developer because the developer paid the contractor to do it. Another scenario would be if the city said, we're going to build that infrastructure and pay for it somehow, then the city would have built the roads or the traffic lights and other things out there. But for whatever reason, back when it was created, and it was, in my opinion, a good decision, the business district was created because many times developers and the private industry can engineer and program this type of construction together in a way to make it less expensive. And that's why it was set up for Shields. So the sports complex, as it's proposed, and as the development agreement that the city's adhering to with the developer, requires the city to reset the clock on the business district. Now, none of the money, the sales tax money from the business district, goes to pay for the sports complex proper itself. So the business district's not going to pay for AstroTurf or things like that at the sports complex. But I think we all believe when this is built and it's successful, there's going to be additional infrastructure that needs to be out there to support the visitors that come, the roads, all the things we need to get that done. Almost 3 years ago, we started the conversation with the city about the sports complex, we being the development group, the Growth Alliance. At that time, we explained that we needed to have the business district reset. For whatever reason, the previous administration didn't move that ball forward during their time. We had continually reiterated the need to do that. I understand the frustration of how you're having to vote on this now, and you feel like it's kind of late in the game. That's a valid frustration. But the developer can't do the business district. It has to be initiated by a city entity, which is what you're in the process of doing right now. Just kind of want to offer up that clarification. The sports complex is coming together very well. The financing side of that is getting finalized as we speak. And as of right now, we have scheduled a groundbreaking for September 20th. Of course, all of you will be invited to that. That's subject to some things getting approved, right? This business district's important to have that happen. But the developers are scheduling that for September 20th. We'll be excited to have that date come forward. There also will be other things that come before you in the future related to the sports complex. The city can't go through a bond issuance process until you have the vote tonight on the business district. And then for you to issue bonds, you're going to come back to the city council because you don't want just anyone to be able to issue bonds for the organization. So there's going to be a series of things that still come forward because of timing and the requirements in the law about when you can address those items. There's still going to be some items that come before you in the future. But that's kind of an update where we are on starting construction, and that's an explanation on how the business district works and how that money will get utilized. And I watched the tape from the last meeting, and want to just try to clarify some of those things. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have also.
So before we go to the alderman who are signed up to speak, does anyone have a question for Mr. McCready?
Yes, I do.
Well, I think we'll go in a circle if that's okay. So Alderman Gregory, do you have any?
Alderman Redpath.
Oh, Alderman Redpath, do you have any?
My question is, so I think for me, you hit it on the head. You said that this business district is solely for the infrastructure needs and things of that nature.
Right.
It is some infrastructure out there, so that's why so many people are puzzled that we have not done anything, and why, you know what I'm saying, why, you know, if the business district is for the infrastructure and things of that nature, then and this was talked about whenever you said that it was talked about, and if they didn't move, then they needed it, and the bank required it for their financing, We should have known about it then, in my opinion. So therefore, we could get the ball moving. No doubt about it, unless, I know what climate we was in. But we want to get the ball moving.
Sure. When you say we, you mean like the city
The
council
city.
or like the city?
The
Yeah.
city.
Well, the city knew.
Okay.
We
so
asked repeatedly.
The council didn't know. I
Right.
apologize.
And the
So-
development agreement that you've already approved, it's in there. And in the revised development agreement, we even added additional wording in there to try to get this ball moving because it was an obstacle to getting the financing closed.
I feel you. So,
Yep.
so for me, as soon as we know that that's an obstacle, we can't break ground like we're supposed to. Boom, we got to let the city council know so we can make the proper adjustments and lean on the mayor to do whatever is needed so we can get this thing done. Because he's been back here before for the dome. It wasn't a dome on it first, right? We talked about it. Springfield.
Accelerated the project.
We get some things. Then the next thing, dome. We need more money. So we've been here before, and that's all I'm saying. Just be real. Come on with it, so we can get this stuff done. Because now it's not done, and everybody looking at me like I'm being some type of jerk. But we waited. So now I can wait and get my questions answered to make sure that I'm making an informed decision and that we're protecting the taxpayers of Springfield, And I just feel like if this, doesn't get done, I don't think the business, we probably wouldn't even be talking about extension of the business district. In your professional opinion, if we're not talking about a sports complex, are we talking about extension of that?
This conversation generally gets related to specific projects.
Right.
Right. Shields coming, I'm sure, initiated a lot of discussion with the initial business district. Yeah. If we didn't have the sports complex, you probably would not need to extend the business district. I'm not familiar with the bond terms, but I'm just guessing they line up. And, I could have made more noise about needing this done sooner, but this is a very difficult project. And I was trying to keep advocates and not unnecessarily irritate anybody as going through the process. So I was trying to be respectful of that. I also always know that I don't know everything that's going on. Right. So, there's always things that I don't see, don't know about, and that it should be that way.
Right.
I just didn't maybe know how hard to push.
Right. I understand. I mean,
I didn't want to aggravate everybody, and
we and I don't want to speak for all the Williams, but we have an extra added layer of pressure because it's a guy down our back.
I do.
Like, hey, I came with some ideas and stuff, wanted to do stuff. We got that to deal with too, but we know this is a good project. This is where we at now. We want to see it through, but we want to make sure that we're making the right decision. And in my opinion, something could have been done by now. You know what I'm saying? Because the infrastructure, there's some infrastructure out there right now. That's why Shields is standing. So I get it. Thank you for your explanation, and I'll be ready to vote.
Can I say one more thing? I
Yes,
forgot.
sir.
Thank you very much, Mayor. This vote on extending the business district is not any new money for the development agreement either. So it doesn't change what the city's obligation and contribution is. I forgot to clarify that. So there's nothing different from the development agreement. This is just a step in the development agreement. That's a requirement. Thank you.
Alderman Williams, do you have questions for Mr. McCready?
Yes, so what the well, let me ask it this way. Does a developer have a letter of intent from a financial institution?
They will have that before they break ground. So I've been in conversations with the financial institutions. It's not likely to get a letter like that until we have the votes like what we need tonight. So that'll have to happen before, if you have a positive vote tonight, and I hope that you do, then there'll be an item come forward very quickly to issue bonds. And I believe, Mayor, that's when you've requested to have that commitment, right, that financing commitment, before you come back to the council and ask for bond issuance.
Correct.
That's right.
And I've also spoken to the bankers.
Yes.
So what's the norm? I mean, with all developers, when do you have a letter of intent?
We're about to that point right now. This is pretty typical because you get into these conversations about who's going to commit first. We understand that. And there's all these subject twos, right? This project is unique in that there's a series of public votes that have to happen. There's also a number of public bodies that have waived their levy on the property tax side of things too. So we had a number of public steps to go through. The banks want to see that happen before they enter into a commitment because these are public votes and they don't ever want to make assumptions about public bodies and how they will make a decision until the meeting actually happens. So this is pretty typical where we are in a project right now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions, Alderman Williams?
No, I'm fine.
Alderman Rockford? Alderwoman Purchase?
No, that was my question, the letter of intent, and thank you for the clarification, too.
Alderwoman Nutriano, any questions?
No.
Okay. Alderman Carlson? Okay. Alderwoman Conley?
Thank you. Ryan, thank you for coming in tonight and providing a little more details on what's going on here. I just want to, I think you kind of buried your lead. Could you repeat again? Groundbreaking for Legacy Point Sports Complex is scheduled for September 20th.
September 20th.
And
is
that's,
the date
I mean,
that we have.
obviously, we have votes to take, but that is
Yeah.
an exciting day that we have been waiting to hear. And so again, thank you for the
Yeah.
clarification, but, you know, let's bump that up a little bit in priority because it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, everyone's excited about that date, and we appreciate all the support the city has put behind this project.
Alderman Donlin, any questions?
I do have a couple questions. Mr. McCready, I don't know where you were in your career at the time the original business district was established, but I believe it was, if my memory serves me correctly, it was 2008, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And I know you spent some time at the county at the time and had a relationship with the city. In your opinion, would any of that development happen if there was no business district?
I think it would be really difficult for that to happen without a business district. The only way the development would happen is if the city would have taken some other action to create funding for the infrastructure. The infrastructure extension, I think I was at the county and you were at the city at that time.
That is right.
Rolling back the clock, that's right. So the infrastructure cost and extension to that site was significant. And it needed to be near the interstate. And we were fortunate that there was funding for the transportation project for extending MacArthur and building the interchange at the same time. No, there's actually a but-for requirement for tools like this, that you have to say, but for the incentive, the project may not happen, and I would believe that one definitely would meet the standard.
No, and that's really where I was going with this. My recollection is that it would not have been economically feasible. Anybody that's been in Springfield for quite some time knows that there was nothing out there. There was farm ground. That was it. No infrastructure, 0 roads, period. That's how it was. Without the business district, this project wouldn't have happened. Shields would not be in Springfield, which is a true gem on the south end of town.
Right.
And we're sort of, I know there was talk at the time of other types of development, and everybody expected it to happen. We hit the Great Recession, and that slowed things down, not only in Springfield, but throughout the country. It's no secret. Retail establishments, malls are different. Things are not the same as they were back then. So I think it's always interesting for us to look back and see why and how we did things. I was surprised, and I was surprised when we were talking about hitting the reset button on the business district that exists presently, because there is no mechanism in statute for the city council to just extend a business district. It would take special legislation or legislation. And I think the idea of creating a new district and shutting the old one down makes sense for lots of reasons. But I think it's also safe to say, and this is really where I was going with my questioning here, do you believe and is it your understanding that without the new business district, without the 23 years, that bonds would not be able to be sold and we would not be able to do this development?
Yeah, having the business district extended to 23 years makes the bonds much more saleable, which means you get a better rate on those, and it means more of the revenue goes towards projects and less revenue towards interest. So it's a good thing. This new business district also is bigger than the old business district and really will maximize the economic impact of the sports complex development. Mainly, if you think about the taxing bodies like the city that have waived their property tax levy for the sports complex proper itself, the best way to make them whole is to develop as much as we can in the rest of their taxing body in their districts. And having the business district set up this way, which is purely sales tax, doesn't take anything from their property tax, funded by people who spend money there, a lot of people from out of town, I think it's a great way to do that and maximize that return for the taxing bodies and the economy.
And you hear a lot of cynicism about whether something's going to happen or not. I guess we'll see, but it's always good to, I think, revisit projects that have indeed been successful. Springfield has a lot of opportunities. I believe we have a lot more. And, the developers don't get everything they want. And they didn't back in the day either, because the MacArthur interchange, I believe, was originally supposed to be just 2 lanes, and it's more than that now in anticipation of this development that is finally, hopefully, forthcoming.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a hard thing to do, but, our community has the ability to do hard things. And if we really want to grow our community, we're going to have difficult conversations and do hard things in the future. We can't pat ourselves in the back for bringing sand to the beach, right? We have to be willing to do hard things, and so it means we have a lot of meetings and conversations. That's not a bad thing. That's how you get hard things done, and that's how you do things that other communities can't do. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. McCready.
Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you, and I don't know if this is for Ryan or for whoever, but, the way I look at it, when we passed the developers agreement, in that agreement, we stated that we would commit to the business district or money for 23 years. And I guess if my question would be, if we would renege on this, if this didn't pass, do we open ourselves up to litigation? Because we as a council, we as a city made a commitment, and we're going back on that commitment. And I just wondered if, I just kind of was wondering, does that put us in a,
I think that's a conversation you and I could have maybe via phone after this meeting.
Okay. Thank you. I got my answer then. You don't need to call me.
Are there any other questions for Mr. McCready?
Well, and, my thing is, and Ryan, you've worked hard on this, and I think that this is a big deal. I think that this, not only, once we get the sports complex rolling out there, you're going to see growth around it like crazy. And that's where we're going to benefit even more than at the sports complex. And, Scott Dole hasn't been wrong too much on the tourism stuff. And he says it'll really drive our tourism, so we'll hold his feet to the fire on that. So thank you.
Thank you for coming up, Ryan.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Alderman Carlson?
Yes, thank you. I've got a couple questions, and I'm just going to talk about the Shields complex. I have a couple questions before I make a comment. And I think I've talked to Ryan a couple of times. Do we have any sort of letter or any sort of documentation on this bond repayment? If something happens after 6 or 7 months, I've gotten a couple of phone calls from constituents that the city's not on the hook. I mean, can somebody answer that? What kind of assurance are we getting that, 6, 7 months down the road after the bond sale that the city's not on the hook?
It's a limited bond, it's a limited obligation bond to the city of Springfield. The only obligation the city has is to collect the sales tax and to pay the debt service.
So it's on essentially it's on the developer then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So we're only obligated to repay the debt service incurred from sales tax collected under the redevelopment agreement.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes me feel comfortable. And then I'm just looking at this thing from a whole different perspective. I'm sure maybe everybody else is as well. But when you've been in government as long as I have, government can only get in the way. And hopefully I haven't been part of that over my 30-year career. But to me, these are the kinds of projects and incentives that, to me, we need to help and sort of use every tool in the toolbox to help businesses come to Springfield. And with that assurance of the bonds that the city's not on the hook for any issue should this thing go belly up or go bankrupt, to me, what we're doing tonight, what we did last week, were just a couple final hurdles of doing what we can to help businesses come to Springfield and come to and thrive. And for those reasons, I'm happy to vote for the complex, and I would urge my colleagues to do the same thing.
Alderman Williams?
Yes, so I'll just end by just saying I still believe it's a good proposal and possibly a good thing for Springfield. But I want to remind this council we said it was going to be good for the whole city, not just that area. So let's be careful what we build in the new business district. I'm going to be looking for all of mine up and down Dirksen, every hotel, motel to be full, because that's what, well, back then it was Alderman DeCenso, but that's what was promised and that's what was said. Oh, everybody's going to benefit. We told the guys that do this kind of stuff with sports that exists now, that were smaller and personal and from Springfield, oh, you guys are going to benefit too. So I just want to remind you, Mayor, that when we are working with this complex, and like I said, I'm going to vote for it, and I'm hoping that it is successful, but it needs to benefit everybody in the city and not just that corner. Thank you.
Alderman Redpath.
And I follow up with Alderman Williams because I know that Scott told us that we need all the hotels we can get. And one of the biggest parts was the Dirksen Parkway corridor, where we have several hotels, and we need those hotels to accommodate the people that are going to come here. And I feel confident that's going to happen, and you feel confident it's going to happen. And so, believe me, nobody's forgot that. And you know me. That was a big deal to me.
I got 12 of them.
Unfortunately, we have to give some of it probably to Chatham or Jacksonville or somebody else because we won't have enough.
There's no hotels in Chatham.
So we're building more hotels, and I think there's one going out up there on Dirksen, isn't there, Alderman?
Yeah.
So that one's going to be full too.
I'm hoping.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on this? Okay. Clerk Lesko, you okay for the voting to be open?
Yes.
All right, voting is now open for all those in favor of the agenda item number 2023-392. Please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. Motion passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is 2023-393, an ordinance approving the dissolution of the South Central Business District. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-393 on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And do we have a motion? Alderman Redpath.
Yes, Mayor, I have a proposed amendment. I'd like to propose an ordinance to approve the dissolution of the South Central Business District, and an ordinance that would be providing the issuance of business district tax revenue bonds, Series 2023 of the City of Springfield.
Okay, so we have a motion for an
Correct. We're going to take those in two separate steps. So just move to the proposed written amendment attached is a proposed written amendment for 2023-393.
Second.
329.
So we have a motion for amendment to 2023-393. We have a first and a second. Do we have discussion on the amendment that's in front of you? Okay, it looks like we have no discussion. Can I get a motion to say aye if you accept the amendment?
Aye.
Nay? Okay, the amendment passes. So now a discussion on the ordinance is amended. Any discussion on the ordinance itself?
Motion to pass.
Second.
As
We have
amended.
a motion and a second to pass ordinance number 2023-393 as amended. And the voting will now be open if there's no one signed up to speak. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is item number 2023-394, an ordinance establishing the South Central Business District 2 and adopting the South Central Business District 2 plan. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-394 on final passage.
So move.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on this agenda item? Okay. The voting will now be open. All those in favor?
Do we need to amend this? Oh, no, that's a different one.
Please vote yes. Those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is agenda item number 2023-395, an ordinance imposing a business district retailer's occupation tax, a business district service occupation tax, and a business district hotel operator's occupation tax within the boundaries of the South Central Business District 2. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-395 on final passage.
So move.
Second. A first and a second. Any discussion on this agenda item? Okay. Then the voting will now be open. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The chair will now like to entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place an agenda item on first reading. Can I get a motion? We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
And a second. To suspend the rules, and the chair is going to place on first reading agenda item 2023-429, an ordinance providing for the issuance of business district tax revenue bonds, series 2023 of the city of Springfield, Sangamon County, Illinois. Do we have any discussion on this being read into the record? Okay. All those in favor of the motion to be read into the record, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. Thank you for letting me suspend the rules and put that on.
Okay, go back to.
Are you ready? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is agenda item 2023-380, an ordinance authorizing the payment of $128,000 for settlement of Central District of Illinois Federal Court Case 19-CV-3093, Andrew Dunleavy versus the City of Springfield and James O. Langfelder. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-380 on final passage.
So move.
Second.
First and a second. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Williams.
So the former mayor came and asked that we appeal this. So corporate counsel, are we going to be appealing this?
We are not. This case has already been up on appeal to the Seventh Circuit. And because of the Seventh Circuit has already reversed the decision of the Circuit Court, sent it back to the Circuit Court and said, and informed us that this case should go to trial, which is what occurred. So we are not going to be appealing it.
Okay, so it already was appealed, in other words.
That's right.
Okay. Thank
Any
you.
other questions, Alderman Williams?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. And could we just get an explanation of what this payment actually is for, the $128,000 plus?
Yes. So the case was a 1983 action, which is a civil rights case, and when it provides for attorney's fees for the prevailing party. In this particular case, the jury provided an award of $1. They found that discrimination occurred, and they awarded damages of $1. But with that, and that's what the jury awards. But with that comes an award of attorney's fees. And so this covers this would cover the attorney's fees for the litigation all the way up to this point, which would include the initial appeal that I just discussed with Alderman Williams.
So, and these are the plaintiff's fees, not ours, correct?
That's correct.
So we're paying all of the fees for the person who sued the city?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Any other discussion on this item? Okay. So the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. Oh, I didn't realize Alderman Williams got up, sorry. So the motion passes with 8 voting yes, 1 voting no, and 1 absent. The next item on the agenda is agenda item 2023-381, an ordinance approving the reappointment of Mark Vasconcellos to the Building Code of Appeals. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-381 on final passage.
So move.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on this ordinance? Okay. The motion will now, or the voting will now be open. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is item number 2023-382, an ordinance approving the appointment of Kevin L. Kuhn, P.E., to the Building Code of Appeals. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-382 on final passage.
So move.
We have a first and a second, and I believe Mr. Kuhn is here. If I could ask him to come up, he could introduce himself to you all.
Mayor, who's your second?
Who was the second on that? Alderman Donlin, looks like.
Be first.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Kevin Kuhn. I'm a professional engineer. I co-own an engineering firm here in Springfield, downtown actually. I'm also a building owner right down the street, and Mr. Scott Dahl happens to be my tenant. So we have a lot invested in Springfield, and I was happy to throw my hat in.
Thank you for serving. Any questions for Mr. Kuhn?
Can't you kick him out?
What's that? Can I kick him out?
He's popular.
No,
tonight. Better watch it.
he's tied in. He's got a lease.
Thank you so much for serving. So the voting will now be open. All those in favor, please
Thanks,
vote
Kevin.
yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion carries with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is item number 2023-385, an ordinance authorizing a subrecipient agreement 102301-5 with Memorial Behavioral Health and payment in the amount of $250,505 pursuant to ICGJIA grant number 102301 for the Springfield Police Department. The chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2023-385 on final passage.
So moved.
Second. We have a first and a second. Any discussion on this item? Alderman Gregory.
Yes, is a representative from Memorial in the building tonight? Absolutely.
You can come up and stand with the chief.
I just didn't want Diane to hang out to dry here since I want to say a few things before I turn the floor over to her. And really, we had this discussion last week about what exactly is transpiring. $3 million award from the state. We're starting a co-responder program to address homelessness, one of our many co-responder programs. We were assigned an organization. That organization is Task. They came into town and said, we want to put together a program. You will hear about this program in the near future. It's called SEED. SEED stands for Springfield Engage, Empower, and Deflect. And essentially what this program is going to do is deflect individuals from the criminal justice system and into the appropriate social service networks that we have within our community. Springfield is blessed with a multitude of social service networks. I've said this numerous times. Homelessness cannot be placed on the backs of law enforcement, and we're more than willing to partner with our social service agencies throughout the community to see to it that we find a great resolution. So with this SEED program, there are several folks, organizations that are a part of this, and I'm just going to go through them real quick. Sojourn, Solid Rock, Heartland House, Memorial Health, SIU School of Medicine, Helping Hands, Table of Life Ministries, Washington Street Mission. Not all those individuals are receiving funds from this grant. It's just some of them, but everyone is committed when it comes to homelessness. So having said that, I'm going to let Diana talk.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Diana Kanabi. I'm the president at Memorial Behavioral Health. We are dedicated to utilizing this grant funding to reinforce the continuum of mental health care, spanning from crisis intervention to outpatient services. Our objectives to utilize funds from this initiative from ICEJA and grants through the city, and in particular our partnership with the Springfield Law Enforcement, Springfield Police Department, is to support staff capabilities, thereby effectively accommodating an elevated volume of referrals from the Springfield Police Department and from Task. Our collaboration with the Springfield Police Department has yielded a proven track record of success, exemplified by our ongoing co-response program. Through this initiative, mental health counselors will work side by side with police officers 6 days a week. This integrated approach has allowed the Springfield Police Department to respond to mental health crises more effectively and providing the necessary care to individuals in need. In summary, we believe that this grant funding will provide financial support to assist in increasing capacity, concentrating on increasing access for mental health services for all ages and payer sources in Sangamon County, in particular in Springfield.
Thank you.
Thank you. You answered some of my questions. So let me ask you this. Chief, you spoke on the co-responder program. I know we piloted this some time ago. Correct.
So we have a homeless outreach team program. There are a lot of different programs here, and a lot of them are starting to overlap. So we have a homeless outreach team program led by Officer Mike Newman, who's in the back.
He's here.
Yeah,
Officer
he's in
Newman's
the back, and Shannon Allen. Those two are employed by the Springfield Police Department. Okay. This program here is more about the Springfield Police Department connecting the social service network that we already have in place, and by utilizing the resources that are receiving grant funds, and some of those that aren't, they're going to be that middle link that will take the individual that's got homelessness concerns, maybe mental health issues, and get them into the immediate treatment that they need versus getting into the criminal justice system and just becoming another number. That's this program, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just wanted to hear what we'll be doing. I just had some concerns because I know that your office closed over. Are you still in the same office over there?
We didn't close our offices. We did eliminate or are changing some particular programs based on internal decisions that were made at Memorial Health.
And is that where you're going to operate out of there, or are you going to be out with?
They will be out and about, yes. But yeah, our 8th Street site is one of our primary sites, especially for this portion of the city.
How many workers or staff do you plan to have with this program?
Well, we'll have some that are working on this, and then some that are doing our co-response. And then this essentially allows us to be able to look at expanding capacity. So I don't know that I have a set number. We'll need to look at what the numbers are as far as referrals coming in.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Alderman Williams.
Yes, so, and this is probably Chief. So the work she's doing, is this the work that where the caseworker or the social workers at the mission or riding with the police?
So we've got a couple different programs going on currently.
Which one is she doing?
This is the one, this is at the mission, Josh?
No.
Oh, I'll let Diane.
Yeah, we do mobile crisis response. So we're responding to some mental health crises with just our team of mental health counselors, social workers. And then we also have a co-response program so that we have a social worker every day, at least 6 days a week right now that's going out, or this will expand it to 6 days a week, who are going out with law enforcement officers. And so that's part of it.
So you are connecting straight to the individual?
Yes, correct.
Because I'm after impacts. Thank you.
Yes.
And that program's been in place, and I can tell you what a huge success it's been, having subject matter experts in the field that can go directly to these calls and, quite frankly, de-escalate the majority of situations that we find ourselves in.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for clarification and identifying what you will be doing. I know last week I asked, could we have a quarterly update? And Josh said that you all will be turning it in for the grant, but can we still receive some of that information ourselves from what you all are doing out in the streets?
Yeah, I'm going to speak to that because I think it's important that we showcase the great work that's happening as a result of this collaboration. So yes, I think one will be reporting to the grant authority. That's just part of the grant, but also I think we should be, reporting to the public on what exactly is happening as a result of this program. Yes,
I thought it was a very good highlight with Officer Newman here last week to tell us the things that we see on a normal basis are all negative, but what we don't see is how he reconnected some of the homeless individuals with their families out of state, or just got them the extra help that they needed with their push. So I just want to hear some of the good things that's going on too as well. Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, and I know you have probably a very busy schedule. We appreciate you taking some time to just explain a little more detail behind what this co-responder model will look like. And I will say, I did get to meet one of the behavioral specialists who, on one of our neighborhood walks, Chief, and that was really a wonderful, positive experience. So I was very grateful to see what kind of people you have working for you. We know this is a complicated issue, but this is an encouraging step in the right direction. And again, and Chief, I'm just texted, do we know what other cities were awarded this grant? It was four cities, right, in the state? If you don't know off the top of your head, I'll Google it
I apologize.
But this is a big step for Springfield and an opportunity for us to really highlight and showcase what a really caring and effective police department can do when we partner with the appropriate professionals and really push in to meet people where they are and address the needs that they have. And so thank you very much for coming tonight and giving a little more background and detail.
If I can, just to address that for a minute, you've got a dedicated group of folks here working with the police department who really are coming together to address this wholeheartedly. And so it's a great initiative, and so it'll be nice to see how it grows.
Thank you. Look forward to that. Thank you.
I just want to add one more thing because I should have said this earlier and I didn't. I mentioned some of the folks that are associated with, again, it was Sojourn, Solid Rock, Heartland House, Memorial Health, SIU School of Medicine, Helping Hands, Table of Life Ministries, and Washington Street Mission. There are actually parts of the leadership team from each one of these organizations here tonight, and that should say a lot about their commitment to this program, and I know that it will be successful, and I look forward to great things from it. So.
And thank you for bringing that up, Chief. Is anyone in the audience that wants to speak on this behalf from any of those agencies? Okay, they're all laughing at me, so that would be a no. That would be a no. Any other, Alderman Redpath.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, the Solid Rock people are here, and I just wanted to say thank you to all the groups that are associated with this, because this is a major project for Springfield. There were several questions at the committee, and everybody that we asked to show up showed up, and I hope all the questions were answered.
Well, yeah, so are we doing this by ordinance or just doing it all now?
We can get,
Like Solid Rock is next, I guess, and I didn't know how you was
That's a separate
making them
ordinance
address.
that we're talking about with Solid Rock.
But anyway, I wanted to thank all the people that showed up to support this, because this is a major deal for Springfield. So thank you.
Any other questions from the council? All right, the voting will now be open. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. Thank you all for coming as well. The next item on the agenda is 2023-387, an ordinance authorizing a subrecipient agreement 102301-1 with Solid Rock Youth Transitional Services and payments in the amount of $587,500 pursuant to ICJIA grant number 102301 for the Springfield Police Department.
So moved.
The chair will entertain a motion. Thank you, Alderwoman. To place this agenda number 2023-387 on final passage. We have a first and a second. Any discussion on this ordinance? Alderman Williams.
Yes, can I speak with whoever's here from Solid Rock, please? So I want to thank you as well. This answered the majority of my questions, so and it's well put together, and I appreciate it. But I do want to go back to a few things. So the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you know to apply or figure out that there was a grant and to apply? How did you find out about the grant?
Great question. So we were approached because when we were originally putting Solid Rock together, we spoke to several people in the community about what we were looking to do, and they informed us of the grant.
Okay. So just like the other entities that are part of this grant, I have certain questions because to me, as alderman, it has to make sense. I don't see certain things out there. That's why I want to make sure, the lady that spoke before you, that there's a component that's touching bases with these men, because that's what I see. I want to ask you about your area. It looks like it's when they time out of being foster care, that's who you're going to be working with, that population.
Yes, sir.
For me, I don't see that when I'm out there with the homeless, so that's why I wanted to ask some questions. And one of the questions was, what's those numbers look like? It is a lot of them, a few of them, or?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay.
All right, am I free to answer? Okay. So just looking at the data, just in Sangamon County, we had about 70 youth that are preparing to age out. So that's a huge number of youth. Even if it was one, knowing that one child in our community can end up homeless is a problem. So knowing that we have about 70 that are preparing to age out of foster care without the life skills, without the training that they need to become self-sufficient, our program is meant to help them with that and ensure that with knowing that about 40% of youth that age out within 18 months will end up homeless. So if we're looking at just in Sangamon County having about 7, that means about almost 28 to 30 youth could end up homeless in our community. And our program is working to ensure that that doesn't happen.
Okay. So you find out about these guys how?
We find out about the youth through several components, one through DCFS, and we're also a part of the SEED initiative. So we'll be working with the SPD and the deflection specialist to receive referrals. And this funding will help with, as we receive that influx of referrals through SPD, we'll be able to make sure that they're housed and make sure that they have the services that they needed.
Yeah, because so this is a particular group of potential homeless that I don't see. You know, I don't see them out there, but I do get stories about on people's couches and in people's basements. And so like they hang on to different people's, I guess that's a form of homelessness and that, so that would be one that I haven't seen in the abandoned houses and stuff. These, just like I don't see the women and kids, you hear me ask them the same type of questions. I'm just trying to make sure that when we're using this grant, that we use it to have impact. We do a lot of things in Springfield for the homeless with the consortium and helping and Salvation Army, and we spend all this money, and I don't see impact. So that's why I'm asking. I'm willing to give it a chance. I appreciate it, and I will be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Williams. And I just want to speak these are excellent questions, and we're excited, even to Alderman Purchas's point, that we'll be able to present on a regular basis the good work that we are doing. We've had the privilege of partnering with so many excellent organizations, as well as Springfield Police Department, and just been partnering with them on this initiative. We're really excited about the work that we'll be able to do and the impact that we will be able to make, and then to be able to share that with you all.
And it's ongoing. It's not going to stop with the program.
Correct.
We'll always have an open door for the youth that we come into contact with. Whatever's going on in their lives, they can always come back to Solid Rock for help.
Thank you.
Alderman Gregory, you have some questions?
Thank you. I remember us having a conversation about this, and you know, it's very near and dear to me. And I know when we talk about transitional services and things, I know within this grant, one of the organizations that applied was, that's what they do. They build houses and homes and things of that nature. And you know, when I look at the number, you know, 587 Memorial Behavioral Health, which is what we need desperately, you know, is only getting 250. I often pause before I even knew who the person was of the business. So it's strictly business for me, and in this topic with this money. And in my ward, we have the Youth Service Bureau. You know, and this just really just goes to the cusp. When often we're dealing in these areas, these questions come out because this is not something that I knew of. I didn't know we had that CEGA grant, and you know, we needed to get organizations applying for, or else I would have suggested organizations like them who house young people already, who don't have places to go and things of that nature, or programs like the one that I benefited from when I came out of foster care, which initially paid for my apartment and then weaned me off over time. And I imagine you have something like that up your sleeve, and that's a great program. And for grants like this, I just think that we often are so shallow in it that there's other organizations that I think that, and while they were denied, had we known that, and it very well would have helped your purpose as well, because we're talking about putting people in housing and getting in housing, we dang sure don't want to see a organization like that get denied. You know, we as aldermen and alder people, we should know about those things so we can take it to the next level and really talk about the basis of this, because we can have all the programming in the world and we can try to get people in homes. We're about to try to, you know, do a situation to put homeless in shortly. So we're constantly looking at that. There's a high number of houses, so it just sort of puts us in a revolving circle, so to speak, because if we don't have homes to put people in, you know, it's hard to transition people anywhere. And that's more so what my concern was with this is some of the amounts that some was getting and some wasn't. However, I do know that you have a great program. I do know you have the capability to execute everything that you put in this book. But the overall picture of it, I just think it makes no sense, you know, to fund all programming and that housing and opportunities to build new homes, so to speak, as well as when we make attempts to fix old homes for people to go in, not only with your program but with our homeless situation and things. If we don't have good homes to put people in, then, you know, we're really spinning our wheels. So I appreciate your service. I do look forward to voting for this. And I would just, I know you're going to come back up, Chief, but I would just say, you know, in some of these things, we're going to ask a lot of questions because we're not at the table. And I apologize that you're in this situation to field so many questions. So thank you for your time today.
And I'm honored to actually be able to speak to it for several reasons. One, I'm honored to be a part of this initiative. Pam and I care deeply about the youth that we serve and the opportunity to come before you all and share about what we're doing. So it's an honor. It's not a challenge at all, or a problem. We're privileged to do it. And in regards to being able to have quality housing, We operated within the guidelines of the grant, so acquisition or construction was not within that. So we operated within that. If there was funding, and if you know of some, I'd love to hear about it, that provides for acquisition, we'd be all on board to be able to renovate and put people in quality housing. So, and I also look forward to just hearing some of your insight as we move along through this project, because I'm sure you'd have some valuable insight. So thank you for your questions.
Alderman Williams?
Oh, well, I don't know. I'll just end by saying to Chief and you guys, so this is kind of outside the box of the type of homeless I'm fighting or dealing with, in Ward 3. But I like it because it's going to prevent homeless, I guess. Some of this. One I let get through was the women and children soldiering. I'm like, I don't see women and children out there, but because of the good work they do with the violence and the women that they do take care of, I went ahead and thought, well, that does need to be on consent, because if the women didn't have children, they probably would be in one of those empty buildings. But so this is kind of a little different. I just hope we are, Chief, in this overall grant with all these different components, are getting to these men. That I'm saying grown men, everywhere from 20 to 60, populations, black, white, it don't matter. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not really seeing the foster or the women and children and things like that. So that's why I harp on the mental illness piece and getting in their face. But I'm going to support, I always do try to support the police. Thank you.
Alderwoman Purchase?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to thank you for stepping up and applying for this grant. I personally know the work that you do and how passionate you are. And on another note, I know that sometimes it's hard for our culture to trust others when they see one person who looks like us. It helps to break that barrier down. I know that's a lot with Officer Newman being on the street too as well. So I'm happy to be supportive and help wherever I can, and I urge my colleagues to vote for this too tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Purchase. Any other discussion? Okay, voting will now be open. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, none voting no. 10 voting yes, none voting no.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Alderman. The next item on the agenda is item number 2023-397, an ordinance authorizing execution of an agreement with ZNS 51 LLC for redevelopment assistance in the amount of $125,000 for the property located at 214 South 6th Street, utilizing Central Area Tax Increment Finance Funds through the Office of Planning and Economic Development.
So moved.
The chair will entertain a motion. We have a first and a second to place agenda item 2023-397 on final passage. Any discussion on this? Alderman Gregory.
I know last week I put this on debate, and as I spoke to Alderwoman Purchase last week, I explained to her that anytime that we have TIF requests and things of that nature, we always try to do our due diligence and look over the projects, make sure it fits the specs. I normally like to try to ride by, and that's all that was. When you spending taxpayer money, we shouldn't be a rubber stamp for anyone, and we should make sure we do our due diligence. So I appreciate you guys doing something to improve our community.
Yeah, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
None. I reviewed
Julia,
the plan.
can you tell them who you are? Sorry. They may not know.
My name's Julia Cave. I'm a community program specialist in the Office of Planning and Economic Development, and I've been working with Mr. Samara on this project, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
Fabulous project. I was able to review the information as I didn't have that whole time last week. And when we're dealing with taxpayer money, we always should do our due diligence. If we're uncomfortable, we have that right to do this. So
that's understandable.
I didn't want you thinking nothing like that. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this ordinance? Okay, the voting will now be open. All those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes, 1 voting no. Is there any unfinished business to come before the City Council from the council members? Alderman Gregory.
Yes, point of order, point of information. Corporation Council, would it be appropriate if I, let me ask, if I may, can I ask Chief Scarlett, is he still here?
He stepped outside for a minute.
Point of information. am I still able to put something on first reading by suspending the rules, sir?
So you would have to move to suspend.
I understand the
Yeah.
process, but am I outside of my time frame to do that?
No, you can do that during the meeting.
Okay. I would like to move this, to suspend the rules to add a ordinance or ordinances to the first reading for next week.
Has it been drafted, Alderman?
Some of it, most of
Is
it.
that typical?
I've done it myself.
We would need a title of the ordinance
Okay.
presented today.
I will. I have that all already.
And a general description so the council would know. So,
I'm ready.
yes, he can move with the ordinance title, and there would need to be a second, and then there would be discussion.
So I would just move to, for ordinance authorizing sub-recipient agreement 23-203-186 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $3 million for the Community Connections Program with One in a Million Inc. in the amount of $215,000 pursuant to the grant number. I don't have that. You'll have to pull that up.
Point of order,
Sure.
Mayor.
Yes,
And
Alderman
I don't
Dolan.
know your ordinance. We haven't talked about it.
I don't either, Alderman.
My understanding, though, was that we had to have, in order to introduce something, you have to have a printed copy for, or at least an electronic or printed copy for everybody to look at.
I would
Not the case?
refer to corporate counsel.
If he has a printed copy, he could, if he has one printed copy, it could be put on file with the clerk after the motion and second with the ordinance title. Whatever draft is presented would need to go to the clerk to be filed.
And that would be, that's right on the record tonight and passed out to everybody. Just
That's
a
correct.
clarification, that's all. Just
Do you have anything to pass out, Alderman, or to give to the clerk?
I didn't get a chance to print this one out before I came, and I was uncomfortable
Reading
sending
it,
it at that
right?
time. Yes,
Can
yes,
you
I
email it?
written it out, but I didn't
I was
have
thinking,
time.
you email it to Jeanette.
Oh,
She can go
yes, I
print it?
can. Yes, ma'am.
She's right back there.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on one second here.
That's why you're mayor.
Yes, indeed.
Problem solver. Sorry, Jeanette.
Sorry, Miss Jeanette.
Thank you, Jeanette.
I'm sorry, Miss Jeanette. And I apologize to my colleagues, but I have to.
Then you have a copy for tonight.
Needs to have a number assigned to it.
Has what?
Needs to have a number assigned to it.
Yes.
Do you know what number you're at? I don't, I'm
Well,
at
you just added 429.
430. 2020. Alderman, the ordinance number that you want to write at the top of it is 2023-430.
4:30?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
This is 2 business days.
All right.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may, Alderman Gregory, if you don't even have the heading ready, I mean, could we?
I have
can
it
just wait?
right. I would just, I would rather not. I could read it into, and I can turn it into the clerk afterwards for everyone to have, but it'll be 3, I wish I could put them in one, but it'll be 3 ordinances, dealing with the Illinois Department of Economic Opportunity and the grant that we got for $3 million, and I would like to put an ordinance to have those funds dispersed to the Springfield Park District, Better Life, Better Living for Kids, and One in a Million Inc. Those things are written up. I just have to email them to Jeanette so she can print them out.
Could I make a suggestion that while we're waiting, that we could listen to the people who want to address the council and give him a little time?
We have some other people
Thank you.
signed up to
Is that
speak to.
okay?
But I have a question for corporate counsel. How soon do these need to be published on the clerk's site in order for it to not violate OMA?
Well, we're suspending the rules, so as long as they're published 48 hours before we take final action on them,
Okay,
that's
so the clerk has time to
acceptable.
publish them.
So it's
Okay.
the same procedure that we went through a
Thank
little
you.
earlier.
Okay. All right, so while we're waiting for Alderman Gregory, Alderman Purchase, you signed up to speak, so I'll let you speak.
Thank you,
Alderwoman Purchase, I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you. This question, I don't know if it's for Director Scott Dahl or if it's for Director Fuchs. I know we have the Mother Road Route 66 coming up, and I've watched some of our public works or whoever's contracted to take care of the weeds downtown, and they just spray them, but they don't pick them up. So I just was wondering, could we get that done? It's a lot around the trees, and if you even go right across the street, you see a lot of them. And I try to do it while I'm downtown too, if I'm not touching any food.
You got some work gloves?
No, but I wash my hands.
Of course, the Public Works crews
Alderman Rockford
have been involved in the branch pickup, and unfortunately, we are about a week or so behind on that because of the hot weather a couple of weeks ago, and we have had some major equipment problems. So that's one of the things that has slowed it down. But we do have work orders, and it's in the queue to trim the trees, to clean those up, and to make sure we have another crew that's watering all the flowers. As you know, we've had a lot of hot weather, and it's late in the season, and Alderman Redpath, you're a flower guy, so you know about this.
You bet.
They don't do so well in the hot weather and at this late in the season. So we're working overtime on that as well. So we're doing everything we can to keep everything looking as good, as green, and as alive as we can.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to have our whole downtown completely closed down with cars on every corner, thousands of people walking around. I just want to look really good and presentable when we have all of those tourists coming into town. So thank you.
We're doing the best we can with what we got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. So any other aldermen that have unfinished business? Just so everyone knows on the record, we will go back to unfinished business when Alderman Gregory returns with us. So with new business, any aldermen have new business they need to discuss? Alderwoman Purchase, I'm shocked. I'm going to ask Director of CWLP, Doug Brown, to come up for a minute for new business.
So just to make sure that everybody remembers that tomorrow night, there is going to be an open house at the Lincoln Library. It's for the Army Corps. They're putting it on for Hunter Lake. It's for the draft version of the supplemental environmental impact statement. So it's basically rendering kind of a Corps' assessment on all the alternatives regarding Hunter Lake being the preferred alternative, but looking at all the alternatives and determining which is the best course of action, as a no action or Hunter Lake is the two final solutions. So that is tomorrow night from 5 to 7. The format basically is an open house. The Corps is there to answer questions and receive written comments as well. So that's encouraged. There's also with the Army Corps' public notice, there's a ways to actually do that and submit them electronically as well to the Army Corps of Engineers. So there's two different methods to do that, and basically everything that the Army Corps put out there, we also have on our website for cop.com basically it discusses a lot of the history of Hunter Lake, of the project, the public notice, and the draft supplemental environmental impact statement.
Does anyone have any questions for Director Brown? Alderman Carlson. I keep wanting to just call you Brad tonight, and I don't know
That's
why.
fine.
Alderman Carlson.
Mayor, just call me Brad. That's fine.
I can't call you Brad.
Hey,
Alderman
you,
Carlson.
Director Brown, after tomorrow, what's sort of the timeline, months ahead or years ahead? I know we've been talking about this for years, Hunter Lake, but what sort of, what do we have to look forward to over the next few months after, what kind of hurdles have to be cleared? I know we've cleared a bunch of them over the years, but there's still more from the Army Corps. I know they're
there's definitely more hurdles to clear. The main thing is collecting the public comments for the Army Corps, and then kind of basically vetting those. There'll be some that are probably the same comments that they've had for years, decades past, right? Yeah. But there could be new comments as well that they need to address in their draft form. So once they do that, then they would be ready to issue basically the next step at that. And we don't really have a time frame for how long that will take them for that part. Other steps are, basically pursuing the 401 permit from the Illinois EPA, doing a couple other studies that we've put off. We've already did them once, and as long as this process is taken, it's time to have to do them again. We're not doing that. We're not doing that again. So we want to get to the end, and then we would actually do a couple of those other minor studies that probably won't amount to anything anyway. But we just don't want them to expire by any means.
Okay, thank you.
Any other aldermen for questions for Director Brown? Aldermen or alderwomen, I should say. All right, thank you, Director, for coming up and discussing that. We're going to go back to the unfinished business because Alderman Gregory has returned.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Point of information, Corporation Counsel, would I need a number for each one of them, or can I put all three in one ordinance, sir?
It would be a number for each one, and then there would be a motion to suspend the rules to place it on first reading for each one of these.
Okay.
Alderman, your first one would be 430, the second one would be 431, and the third would be 432.
Okay. All right. Let's try this again. A motion to suspend the rules to introduce three ordinances into the first reading.
Second.
Thank you, sir.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion before he reads them into the record? All right, go ahead, Alderman.
You want me to read it?
Would
You want me to do it, or you, Mr. Clerk?
I can do it if you'd like.
Make it sound better.
All right.
Thank you.
An ordinance authorizing a subrecipient agreement number 430 with Better Life, Better Living for Kids and payment in the amount of $215,000 pursuant to number 23-203186 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $3 million for the Community Connections program for the Springfield Police Department. 431, an ordinance authorizing a subrecipient agreement number 23-203186 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $3 million for the Community Connections program with 1 in a Million Incorporated payment in the amount of $215,000 pursuant to core grant number for the Springfield Police Department 2023-432. An ordinance authorizes a subrecipient agreement with Springfield Park District in the payment of the amount of $215,000 pursuant number 23-203186 from the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the amount of $3 million for the Community Connections programs.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of these?
Yes,
Alderman Williams.
Mayor, I have to be what is it?
Present.
Present on
432.
432.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you, Alderman Williams.
Is the motion that is being proposed is just to add them to the agenda, right?
Right, first reading.
That's correct, but we need to move to suspend the rules.
Sure.
The motion was to move to suspend the rules.
To suspend the rules,
Second.
and are we if we're going to do all three, then we should first we should have a motion to take all three at the same time, like we do with certain votes, or we can take each three individually. But right now
I'll make a motion for the omnibus vote.
I'll second the omnibus.
First and a second for omnibus vote. Any other discussion? Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just, Chief, if you could, I just need to know, are these subrecipient agreements finalized and ready to be executed?
My knowledge, we do not have access to the $3 million from the state on this project yet. We are currently working through that, but we have not finalized that process. Donna Davlantis has been working with us to get all that squared away. The state's been dragging their feet on this whole process. I'm ready to spend money as much as anyone else, but we do not have it yet.
Okay. And when we do, can we allocate it to these organizations immediately?
So we had to submit a budget to DCO, I believe it was, to get approval to spend the money. So I would have to verify our budget versus those three ordinances that you just mentioned.
Well, I know that we spoke on two of the organizations that have been in the empowerment zone and should be included in any budget that was submitted, correct? What
You guys,
organizations? Let me ask you, what organizations is in the budget that you submitted?
I'll have to pull that. I believe that our budget included your signature and Alderman Williams' signature and the previous mayor's signature.
So
So
these-
that has all the information.
Well, it actually was more for these. It was, but since we are not moving on that project, but violence prevention money is still needed in our community. So rather than just wait on these buildings and the empowerment zone and all that, we can just disperse the money to the program so they can continue to do and operate in our community. And you know, it's sad that, you know, we can't keep waiting. I can't wait another summer and miss out on this. And I get what you're saying with the state and the money and stuff. However, this isn't aligned with what we talked about, and you know, I just would like to see us move on. I know we moved on the Dollhouse Initiative, correct?
We have not dispersed any funding towards any projects
Point
related
of order.
All right, thank you.
Point of order, Corporation Counsel.
Alderman Redpath.
The point of order I'm bringing up is that we were only adding these to the agenda. I don't think this discussion is appropriate this time. We can bring this to committee, talk about it, and they can work out the details of this, but I think it's important that we go directly to, if we're going to allow these things to be added to the agenda. So that's my...
Sorry, my question, I was the one who was talking, was directly to, do we have a signed final grant agreement from DCEO in that it's really, I mean, because I understand how these grant agreements process, and it can be frustrating and very difficult. Do we have a signed grant agreement that's been executed with the state for these funds?
To my knowledge, not as of yet. We're still going through the steps to get the final approval completed. I don't know if that's the exact terminology.
That is basically what I'm asking. So my point is to put these on the agenda before we even have a finalized grant agreement, to me is...
But Alderman, any Alderman has the right to bring things to the floor for whatever reason. If it turns out that it's not going to work out, then it doesn't work out. But the request was to bring these to the floor, put them on first reading, send them to committee, and then we discuss it. But that's the point that we're talking about, is putting these things on the agenda. And we all have that right. And
I'm not disputing the right. I'm just questioning. My question is literally, do we have
several questions too. I think I think the appropriate thing is either we're voting them up or we're voting them down to be put on the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Alderman. So one more.
For our next committee whole.
Exactly.
I guess I get to get interrupted whenever.
We're discussing it right now.
Okay, so we're going to take a vote on putting these on first reading. It does take a 2/3 vote, so I'm going to ask you to use your voting machine, please. All those in favor of putting this on first reading, vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no.
I don't know that we have the capability of doing
Put
that.
it on
I'm
the
going to
machine.
have
Will you do a roll call?
I will.
Roll call.
Thank you, sir.
Roll call.
Alderman Redpath.
Aye.
Alderman Gregory.
Aye.
Alderman Williams.
Aye.
Alderman Rockford.
Aye.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Aye.
Alderwoman Notariano.
Aye.
Alderman Carlson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Connolly.
Aye.
Alderman Donlin.
Aye.
Alderman Hannar.
Aye.
That's 10 voting yes, none voting no, so they've been added to the agenda. Clerk will add them, and then you need to get the wording as quickly as possible for your ordinances in too, please, so that we can publish them. Thank you.
Alderman Gregory, why don't we have a conversation this week too about what's in there? I think that's probably the best way to handle this. We'll get it squared away.
Okay. Any other new business, because we skipped back to unfinished, any other new business? Director Brown spoke from the council themselves. Okay. Citizens signed up to speak. James Meister.
My name's James Meister, and currently I am one of your homeless. I'm living on a couch at a friend's house. I am waiting on some property to close in a different county. In the meantime, I'm staying in Springfield. A few days ago, actually last Monday, I think the 28th, I was going through an area called Cabbage Patch, being followed by a Springfield squad car, which my understanding is that area of the city is county jurisdiction. As soon as I crossed over the railroad tracks into Springfield on Foxbridge Road, lights were turned on by the officer to initiate a stop. I saw the park sitting right there on the left side of the road. Turned on my turn signal, turned into the park real quick. I don't know whether they saw the turn signal or not. It was a quick decision to get off the road for safety. 4 officers get out of the car. They surround my car. Actually, pickup truck, sorry. They surround my truck. My dogs are going nuts, barking, growling. They're little dogs, but they bite. So I'm trying to corral them. I put my ignition key on my dashboard, and I put my hands up until the officers get there and ask me for my license and stuff. They tell me they pulled me over for no turn signal. So they take my driver's license, my insurance. They come back, they take me out of the car. I show them that I have braces on both of my legs, tell them that I'm handicapped. They said, well, we're going to Terry search you. I says, well, for your safety, I'm fine with you going in my pockets and searching me and everything else. So as soon as they got done doing that, I hit the locks on my truck door, shut the door, secure my property. They take me around to the back of my truck, and then they start lying to me. I make a comment about four officers in a squad car. Oh, that's new Springfield policy. We will be running 4 officers in all squad cars now. They start lying to me. I see that the Supreme Court ruled that officers can lie. It's legal for an officer to lie. But what does that show the citizens of this city and this county if an officer will tell a blank lie? Finally, I got it out of them. They said they're a gun task force. I'm a convicted felon, which means I'm not a citizen of the United States, period. I have no right for firearms. I have no right to run for political office. I have no rights, period. A person can discriminate against me if I want to rent their apartment. Hence, I'm homeless. So, I have been filing for my rights back. There is a legal precedent, was put in law in 1968 that says relief from disability. They don't want you to know this. I filed through the state police. I filed through the courts. I started a court. I finally had to get an attorney. I believe this is a reaction to me suing the state police and the county police of Menard County. Menard County's already threatened me, but now I've got Springfield Police Department coming up to me telling me, and the only thing they could say is, you've got a .45 gun. 8 years in the military. .45 gun. Nah. .45 caliber handgun, .45 caliber rifle. I asked them, they don't know, just a gun. And it's in your truck, sir. We need to search it. Do you have probable cause? Do you have this? Do you have that? No, but we're going to search it anyway. So the only way you're allowed to search it is to put me in handcuffs, arrest me, and then you have a right to search me if you don't have probable cause. So they stick me in handcuffs, tell me I'm being arrested for obstruction of a police officer. That's a secondary crime. You must be obstructing an actual crime before you can be arrested for obstruction as well. So they sent me down to the county building, told me that I had to talk to them. I went to the county state's attorney. They told me 18 months they have to decide whether they want to file charges against me. So now I'm in fear of my life, my safety, and my freedom for the next 18 months. Is the police going to come to my door and arrest me? Because it was a supposed firearms violation or firearms investigation, are they going to come with guns drawn? Now, there are thousands of felons in this town. There are millions of felons in this state. And we should not be treated as sub-citizens. Our rights should be adhered the same as everybody else's rights. I tried to do this behind closed doors.
Mr. Meister, we need you to wrap up. Your time is up.
I tried to do this behind closed doors. I was denied 2 different offices, and that is why I'm here today. Get it out in public. We need to do something about that. My last comment is I didn't know the First Amendment, freedom of speech, has a time limit on the Constitution.
Mr. Meister, the police officers wear body cam footage, so if you want to file a complaint with our Inspector General, you can do that online on the city's website, and they can look into it.
Complaints are filed. FOIAs are requested. I request that these FOIAs be expedited before any information or anything is lost. The police officers gave me a call, told me that they were going to look into it and call me back. They never called me back. They did. One of the officers that was there, we took your license. I had to go to the city building and get my license back because they took it unlawfully. They destroyed my vehicle. 2 little pocket knives inside this bag. They took out of my bag, which was sitting there, and stuck it in the back of my truck in a
So
toolbox.
if you file complaints, sir, that they will follow up with you once those are thoroughly investigated.
So, I appreciate the time. Again,
sir.
I didn't know the First Amendment came with a time limit. We should all have a right to our constitutional rights, including unlawful search and seizures.
The next speaker signed up to speak is Alice Ramey.
I'm going to forego it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ramey. The next speaker signed up to speak is Teresa Haley.
I'm not going to forego it.
Pardon me.
I was just messing with Alice.
Oh.
I'm not going to forego it. Good evening, Mayor. Good to see you. Good evening, City Council. I am here for several reasons. Last week I was here talking about the 1908 race riot monument. We need to ensure that that ordinance is up to date. Out in Congress, they will be voting in D.C. next week and moving that agenda forward. But they do have some concerns about the storage garages that I brought up last week, and we are requesting a meeting with you, Mayor, and some people out in Washington, D.C. to ensure that those storage garages will be placed somewhere else and not directly behind the monument. And I want to personally thank Chuck Redpath last week for hosting the meeting and ensuring that City Council was taking it into effect, and it's something that you're looking at as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So the next thing that I want to do is make sure that that ordinance is in place, but also to talk about the CARES Act. The NAACP and other non-for-profit organizations were here along with some individuals requesting some money for the CARES Act in terms of dilapidated homes. It is our understanding, the NAACP, that if money is not used for the CARES Act to rebuild those homes, that it must be returned. Those are federal dollars. And I'm asking on behalf of Calvin Pitts and some others, what's happening with those funds and what do you plan on doing with them to move that agenda forward? And thirdly, the last time I heard when you appointed people to interim positions, that they were only in those positions for up to 90 days. We are watching and seeing that there are some people still in positions after 90 days, and we want to know, as the oldest civil rights organization, how are you addressing those? Because we see that as being unfair to the disadvantaged communities when we're coming and trying to make things happen for all of Springfield and not just one side of Springfield. That concludes my comments. Anybody want to respond?
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Haley.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yes,
if I may,
Alderman
not
Gregory.
for you, I did request some information on what we were going to do with the CARES Act funds before. On that, I know Val was taking a look at the plan. I do know that it was submitted to HUD as such. I believe earlier we spoke on the importance of housing and really restoring our houses, not only for my ward. That plan had my ward, it had Ward 3, and it had Ward 5 in it as well. And I'm willing to look and work with Ms. Hazel to put it on the agenda, and we can make a vote and go through it just like everything else, so we can move forward in our community as well. No problem, but the question has been asked before, so I assure you, I'm checking on everything I can.
Thank you. Alderman Donilon, you were the one that put forth the agenda item about interim positions in the timeline?
I did. We passed an ordinance about 5 months ago about that.
Can you tell us, the community, what's happening with that, and if there are people still in positions after that timeline?
I can't tell you whether there are people in those positions, but I can tell you we passed the ordinance that limited that to 90 days, so we can inquire about that.
So the NAACP would like to call those individuals out and make sure that we are following all policies and procedures as it relates to that. We want to ensure that everyone is being treated fairly and equally.
Noted. Alderman Williams?
Yes, so Corporate Counsel, what's the rule? Is it 90 days for temporary appointments?
So our ordinances have interim positions to be at 90 days, which can be, it can be extended by council action.
Well, has any council action been taken on any extensions of the 90 days? Because I don't know of any. I mean, so this becomes part of our confusion and problem, whatever you want to call it. We have to have rules, and we just have to abide by them. And we shouldn't be confused at this point. If there's a director that's 90 days old and their interim is in violation because no one's come back and asked for extension.
And what ordinance 2023, or agenda item 2023-412 is an extension that's before the city council that's addressing this issue regarding the term of Catherine Harris.
And Catherine is not beyond her 90 days.
Well, I'm not thinking of Catherine, but I didn't know she was that close. But I wasn't thinking of Catherine. So I would suggest we look at all our directors. And if there's an interim director that's over 90 days, something needs to come before us, please.
Thank you. Any other comments, Ms. Haley? You have a little bit of time left.
No, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment? First and a second. All those in favor, aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you.
My hotel's got to be full. I'm so scared they're going to build us out. Who's going to be on the chair? Well, she said Catherine. I was thinking of Val.
Our rules don't specify the amount, right? But as a matter of fact,